This song has haunted me for months, and I finally figured out why. Lyon's theme, a favorite among fans, has secretly hidden all 5 stages of grief for over 2 decades. No one knew. Until now. Nintendo recently released Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones, onto the Nintendo Switch Online app. I picked it up on a whim and quickly fell in love with all of the characters. However, what really caught my attention was Lyon's theme, specifically the 3rd version, titled Lyon's Theme Organ Arrangement. I listened to it over and over, and then I heard it. The song wasn't merely fitting the moment of Lyon's death, it was a metaphor for it. So, join me as I break down the 5 stages of grief in Lyon's theme, because once you hear them, it's impossible to unhear them. First things first. What are the 5 stages of grief? I know, you probably already know what they are, Mr. Smarty Pants, but I don't care, so I'm gonna tell you anyways. First, there's denial. Second, we have anger. Third is bargaining, which is just a fancy way of saying imagining a different outcome. Fourth is depression, and lastly, 5th is acceptance. That is gonna be our outline for this video. Okay, let's take a look at the sheet music. I've color-coded each section starting with denial and ending in acceptance. First up, denial. This part feels so empty and emotionally confused, which makes it sound like denial. And the only reason it feels this way is because of context. See, in the next stage, anger, the melody is heavily embellished, which means to add a couple notes here and there to the core idea. Anyways, my point is, by leaving out embellishments that could be there, Yuka Tsujiyoko is literally denying part of the piece. The chords also mimic denial by playing these empty-sounding power chords, which are just chords without the middle note. The final chord in this phrase is the only one that isn't inherently a power chord. We hit the parallel major 5th, which to the normal person looks like it's implying the harmonic minor, with the natural 7th of the key being hit. Fortunately for you guys, I'm not a normal person. I see this part as implying the melodic minor. But that's not important right now. We'll get into it later in the video. The major 5th is used to transition into the next phrase, which is anger. Okay. So immediately we see a change. To imply anger, Yuka Tsujiyoko first fills out the bass line rhythmically. Whereas denial was empty and void, anger is full. We also see these embellishments enter. This adds a sense of forcefulness. Unlike the earlier melody, which sounded like someone barely able to walk, This melody sounds like someone clenching their fists and marching anyway. It sounds defiant. This ties into the fact that the twins can no longer deny that their friend is dead, and they're angry about it. Wait a minute. Did you catch that? I made it sound like Ephraim and Erica are the ones grieving. Isn't this Lyon's theme? Well, technically, yes. It is Lyon's leitmotif, or leitmotif. Apologies. But emotionally, the theme is expressing what Ephraim and Erica are going through. How do I know this? Simple. Dead people don't really go through the 5 stages of grief, and Lyon's, well, dead. Thus, it would only make sense that the twins are the ones who are going through it. In the next phrase, bargaining, we hear that something has changed. This isn't the melody we heard from before. It's altered. Just like bargaining is the stage where the one in grief wants to change the outcome, this phrase is changing the melody. So there you have it. Bargaining. I suppose that was easy. But let's dig a little deeper. Another thing that makes this sound like unrealistically changing the outcome are these 2 notes, which imply a melodic minor scale. Yep, these are the same 2 notes which make me think that the earlier phrase might be implying a melodic minor sound. But, once again, we're gonna get back to that later, yes, later, in the video, when it's actually important. But first, we need to check out depression. Well, things just got really serious. That just sounded so full of grief. But why? Well, in this stage, everything comes to a halt. The chugging harmony stops. Once again, the melody is transformed. But now it's defeated, not aimlessly hopeful. This melody moves in a downward arc, a literal depression. It's almost like some unforeseen weight is forcing it down, refusing to let it rise. Also, the harmony revisits some power chords again. The only chord that has the middle note is the first, and it's a minor chord. So all this stage is depressing. Listening to that after everything else just hits so hard. But not to worry. Every good story has a dip before it rises again. And what comes next breathes life into this hopeless atmosphere. The final stage, acceptance, is the answer to all the grief in this piece. When depression dragged us down, we felt it. And everything from earlier sounded that much sadder. But acceptance ties everything together. The melody rises, moving directly opposite depression. There is hope. But at the heart of this section, and really the entire piece, is 2 bright notes. Yep, the same notes that I've been teasing for the entire video. Here's where their true purpose matters. The intriguing fact about these bright notes is that they're only found in 3 stages: denial, bargaining, and acceptance. Only, there is 1 note in denial, 2 in bargaining, and then one of the 2 notes is changed in acceptance. The only one that never changes throughout the entire 3 stages is the natural 7. More on that later. In Denial, we hear the natural 7. It hints at harmonic minor, but I think it wanted to be melodic minor. It's like the melody wanted to rise, but couldn't. Even the scale itself was being denied. In the bargaining stage, both the natural 6 and the natural 7 are hit. I believe that these notes are used because Ephraim and Erica are fooling themselves, making up a happy ending where Lyon might be in it. But it's too bright. Unrealistically so. In fact, this is the only time in the piece that the natural 6 is hit, which is arguably the brightest note in the minor context. But in Acceptance, we hear 2 bright notes. One that we've heard before, the natural 7, and one that we've not, the flat 5. They make for a more realistic ending, one that lives with the sadness, but has a sense of hope. While the flat 5 comes from the Locrian mode, the darkest of modes, it's purposeful. It's used in a secondary dominant chord. The secondary dominant, our 2, resolves to the major 5, which houses our second bright note, the natural 7. The one note that has been carried all the way from Denial to Acceptance, used in 3 different contexts. One denied, one unrealistically bright, and finally, one fulfilled. It's this one note that I believe is representing Lyon, and how his friends remembered him. He wanted to be like Ephraim, but his illness denied him that. He loved Erica, but it was unrealistic to imagine that she'd love him back. And eventually, he turned dark. Each one of the times this natural 7 was hit, it was surrounded by something that changed him. And this is how Lyon was remembered, while his friends watched his light slowly fade. So to recap, Denial is featured in bars 1 through 8. It's empty, like someone saying, I can't believe this. Anger is found in the next 4 bars, which is much more forceful. The added embellishments push the emotion forward. Bargaining changes everything in bars 13 through 16. It brings bright notes from the melodic minor, like someone unrealistically changing the outcome. Then there's depression in bars 14 through 17. The melody moves in a downward arc, literally adding weight to the piece. And in the final stage, Acceptance, the last 4 bars of melody move upwards, giving a sense of hope, and the harmony dips into bright notes that sound like realistically accepting the circumstances. So now, next time you are listening to Lyon's theme, don't just hear it as a beautiful piece, but one filled to the brim with grief. All 5 stages of it. Well, that was it. The 5 stages of grief in Lyon's theme. I really hope you enjoyed it. I worked so hard on this one. Do note that this is my theory, not fact. I personally think that it is showing the 5 stages of grief, but if you're not convinced, that's okay. And if you don't think that it's implying the 5 stages of grief, I'd love to hear why down in the comments. If you have any critiques or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment for that too. If you liked my video, why not consider smashing that like button? If you just love music theory and this type of content, why not come aboard my channel? I'd love to have you. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, stay out of a minor mood.